Saxon Advanced Mathematics, Lesson 63. We have a fun algebra lesson. Well, I guess technically it's geometry too, but mostly what we're going to be doing is very algebra-esque. We're going to talk about circles, and we're going to play around with the equations for circles. First, let me remind you of how circles work. We're going to imagine, well, we're not going to imagine it, we're going to draw it, you guys. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put the center of our circle at the point 2, 4. Okay? And then we're going to imagine a radius of 3. So it goes like that. And I'm going to try and draw it so it's fairly correct. And the standard form, the equation of this would be x minus 4, no, 2, sorry. 2, because this is 2, quantity squared, plus y minus 4, right? That's the y value, equals 3 squared. And the generalized form of this, we say it's x minus, let's see, h plus y minus k equals r squared. This is the formula in which h and k are the coordinates of the center, and 3 equals the radius, right? You know what a radius is. Okay, so this is what we call the standard form of a circle. Both of these are standard form. One is just like the general presentation. I shouldn't say general because sometimes it's general form. This is the equation format, and then this is a formula. That's what I'm trying to say. Formula, and then a specific equation that relates to our circle. Wonkily drawn, but you get it. Now, what we can do though is we can multiply out, oh, this should have a square on it, sorry. We can multiply these out and get what we would call the general form. And I'll show you the step in between. What John did here is he took this binomial, blew it out right there, right? Took this binomial, blew it out right there, squared the 9, and then he regrouped things. Okay? So the general form, well, I'll just do it. It's worth investing the time. I'm starting from here. That would be x squared minus 4x minus 4. Can you guys do binomials in your head? I hope so. That's how I did that. Plus y squared minus 8y plus, I'm sorry, this should be plus 4, plus 16 equals 9. Okay, so I took this and I multiplied it. And then I'm going to rearrange it. And that is going to be, I'm going to put the squares first, x squared plus y squared. Then I'm going to put the x and y terms, minus 4y, minus 8y. And then I'm going to put all of the numbers, I'm going to swim them all together. 4 plus 16 is 20, but then I have to subtract the 9. So this would be plus 11 equals 0. And this we call general form. Okay? This is all going to relate directly to what we're doing in just a hot minute. Okay, so what we're going to do is learn how to start with this and work back to the standard form. So we're going to start with general and move to standard, and then from here we'll be able to graph the circle. And the secret to doing that is completing the square. I'm a huge fan of completing the square. I hope you are too. Okay, so let's dive in. Example 63.1. I think there are just 2 examples. Oh no, there are 3. X squared plus y squared copy please. All right, there's general form. The squares, the single terms, and then the number all lumped together. So what we want to do on the first pass is we want to regroup these. Remember how this was like this? We want to group the x's together and the y's together, and then we're going to kick the number to the curb. So let's look at that. I'm going to give myself a little more room. It's going to be x squared minus 6x with a gap plus y squared, I'm double checking to make sure, yeah, plus 8y with a gap equals negative 21. Okay, I just kicked him to the curb, set these guys up so that they're with their matching letters. Put parentheses around and left gaps. Now you know what goes in those gaps. Yes, indeed, we need to do some magic numbering. So my magic number work will go here. First, for the x's, it'll be minus 6 divided by 2 squared. And I draw a number to that. And then for my y term, it will be 8 over 2 squared. Okay, and I'll draw an arrow to that. And I'm just going to draw a little double-headed arrow so it's super easy. Okay, so that means this magic number, this is negative 3 squared, so that's 9. And this is 4 squared, so that's 16. So I'm going to add 9 here, and I'm going to add 16 here. But you know what I have to do to keep this thing in balance? I have to add 25, right? 9 and 16 equals 25. So I'll add both magic numbers to this other side together. All right, now I can use the numbers inside the parentheses to help me write the binomials. It will be x minus 3 quantity squared plus y plus 4 quantity squared equals, this becomes 4, so I can call that 2 squared. Oh, suddenly we have standard form, ladies. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So now I know that the center of my circle is 3. Remember, the signs are reversed. Negative 4, and my radius equals 2. Hot diggity. So now I can draw, I'm just going to draw fourth quadrant rather, because I know it's going to be way down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. So my center is right there. My radius, so I'm going to go 2, 2, 2, and 2. That just kind of helps me draw it. Ooh. Yikes. Oh well. Radius equals 2, and this point is 3 minus 4. I kind of over-documented. I think if you write it over here and then just draw the picture, that's fine. I wrote it over here and labeled the picture. In any case, all of this is happy days. It's all right. Yay. Okay, so that was fun, right? Let's try another one. 63.2. Given the general form of the equation of a circle, complete the square to write the standard form of the equation and then graph the circle. Okay, so it's the very same thing. The numbers are going to get a little kookier. Those numbers were all super cute, but it's the same process. So we rearrange with x's together, x squared plus 4x, room for a magic number, plus y squared minus 6y, room for a magic number, equals 6 swims over, so he's minus 6. Magic number time. Remember that the rule is we take the b value, we divide it by 2 or multiply by 1/2, depending on which suits our fancy, and then we square it. And what I do, so for the x's, it will be 4 divided by 2, and I draw an arrow to what's inside the parentheses because that's what we'll actually write in the binomial. I'm calculating the magic number as what we'll add as the c value, but when we collapse that from a trinomial down to that perfect square that we created, this is what will go in the binomial version. I hope that makes sense. Okay, this equals 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 squared is 4, and then my y version, it's minus 6 divided by 2, so that's minus 3, and that squared is 9. All right, so now we want to add 4 here, and we want to add 9 here. Remember, these magic numbers will always turn out positive because we're squaring. Oops. The number we actually write in the binomial may be positive or negative, but the magic number will always be positive. I wrote this wrong. Okay. 9, and so then 4 plus 9 is 13, so we need to add 13 there. Okay, now we're ready to collapse these trinomials into the binomials. It'll be x, and again, I look in here, plus 2 quantity squared plus y minus 3, minus 6 over 2. Quantity squared equals, this equals 7, right? But this is a square, so it's got to be the square root of 7 squared. Do you see how I did that? Last time, the number we got here was 4, and so I immediately knew, oh, I can write that as 2 squared. But this time, we did not get a perfect square. We got 7. So the only thing I can do with that is say, oh, okay, well, square root of 7 squared, right? That's still a valid answer. It's just an ugly one. So now we know that our center is at -2, 3, right? This should be a negative sign for a positive value. And the radius is square root of 7, which is between 2 and 3, right? Because 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9. So this falls between 4 and 9. So I know it's roughly that. And if we want to graph it, let's see. It's in the second quadrant, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, minus 2 and 3, square root of 7. So it's roughly like that. Okay, that's the center. And there's the radius. Yay, that's the right answer. Yes. So, the moral of the story is that if the number on the right doesn't work to a perfect square, that's okay. Just use it as a radical. Okay, we're going to do this one more time. And this time, we're going to have some ugly coefficients to deal with. Let me just flip the page because I have a feeling this is going to get kind of kooky, and I don't want to flip in the middle. Ready? So we're doing the same thing. Given the general form of the equation of a circle, Grace is back from inspecting the kitchen. I let her go. Okay, so you can see what the drama is. Coefficients, lead coefficients that are not 1 on the squared terms. So just like we learned to do last year, we have to divide them away. Thankfully, they're the same, right? And again, we have this drama. This always bothered me when I was a student. All of these numbers are changing because you're dividing them by 2, but 0 divided by 2 is still 0. So it always seemed like something was breaking when I did that. But it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So now we'll have x squared plus y squared minus 1/2 x plus 1/2 y. Notice how I'm choosing to write the fraction separately so I can see it better. Minus 3/2 equals 0. Now I'm going to regroup into into trinomial format, and I'm going to kick him to the curb. So I'm going to have x squared minus 1/2 x with room plus y squared plus 1/2 y. I've done it right so far. A lot of times I accidentally call this an x because I'm just used to writing x's all the time. But I'm glad I didn't screw that up. Equals, now this is going to become positive. Okay? Magic number calculation time. Remember that we can calculate the magic number by taking this b term, minus 1/2. We can divide it by 2, or we can multiply by 1/2. So when we have a fraction, it works better if we do it that way. And this is positive 1/2 times 1/2 squared. These are the numbers we're going to put in the binomial. 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. And 1/2 times 1/2 equals 1/4. So we're going to add 1/4 to both sides. And that means we have to add 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4, which is 1/2 right there. Oh. All right. Feel good about that? Oh, wait. I see what I did wrong. I see what I did wrong. I calculated my magic number wrong. This is not... This much is minus 1/4, and then I have to square it. So this is 1/16. I calculated my magic numbers wrong. Do you see what I did? I just simplified what was inside the parentheses. I didn't square it. So this should be 1/16. This should be 1/16. And this should be, I'm adding 2/16. Okay, I'll say that again. When I was calculating my magic numbers, I only simplified what was in here, and I used that number as the magic number, 1/4, but I forgot to square it additionally, because you have to square it as well. So I fixed that. Instead of 1/4, it should be 1/16, 1/16, and then 2/16. Oh, goodness. That was bad. But I caught it, so it's good. Now I'm ready. This should be x minus 1/4 quantity squared. Remember, you can test these. Minus 1/4 times minus 1/4 should give me this number, and it does, positive 1/16. When I add it, it should give me this number. That would be minus 2/4, which is the same as minus 1/2. Okay, so now I know I did it right. It's about time, right? And then this one is positive 1/4. And again, they multiply to this and they add to that, check and check. Now I have to do some fixing here. This has to be multiplied by 8 so that I get the 16 on the bottom, so that's 24. Right? 25, 26, yes. All right, so this equals 26/16. And then I want to write this as the square of two things, right? Because this equals r squared. And I want to write it in a format where it's being squared. So let's see, the bottom will be 4, but the top I can't simplify it, so I'm just going to have to do that trick again. So x minus 1/4 squared plus y plus 1/4 squared equals this squared. Let's just double check and make sure. When I square this, this becomes 26. When I square that, it becomes 16. Okay, we're good. That used to confuse me a lot when I was a student. This idea of writing it as a radius that was being squared instead of like that. That used to blow my mind a little bit. Let me know if it blows yours. Okay, so now what we know is that the center of our circle is point positive 1/4, negative 1/4, and the radius is square root of 26 over 4. Square root of 26 is a little bit more than 5, right? Square root of 25 is 5. So it's a little bit more than 5 over 4. So fourth quadrant, right? Positive x, negative y. We'll make 1 be really big. 1/4 and negative 1/4 would be about there. And then this would be 1. So the circle would be really big. Oh, John didn't tell us to graph this one. But there's a graph, just so you know. Let me just double check these. 1/4, negative 1/4, square root of 26 over 4. Okay, this is what he wanted for the answer. And we got it right. Yay. I hope you enjoyed that. It is geometry, but it's a whole lot of fun algebra. Yay. All right, let me know if it hurt your brain when we talk at the end of this week. Thank you. Goodbye.